Gandhi, 2.
After returning to India in 1915, Gandhi started to live in a more traditional Indian way. He became more religious and searched to find spiritual truth. He led a strict life, even spending one day of the week in complete silence. He believed that not speaking brought him peace of mind. He also gave up wearing Western clothes because he felt that they represented false values. He dressed in very simple Indian clothes. Gandhi started to protest British rule in India. He wanted the country to become independent. Later on, he organized thousands of poor farmers to protest against their landlords. The landlords forced the farmers to grow crops for export instead of growing food for their families. These farmers suffered extreme poverty because they were made to pay high rents even at a time of great famine. A good number of the landlords who asked them to pay the rents were actually British. Gandhi became famous among Indian people for leading protests and strikes against the landlords. Eventually, the British government advised the landlords to give compensation to the farmers. The landlords also agreed to give the farmers control of their own farms. Gandhi also fought for the cause of the untouchables, a group of people who were members of the lowest class. They suffered terrible discrimination. On top of this, Gandhi aimed to reduce prejudice toward women. He traveled all around India to discover what kind of problems Indians had. He helped people to clean up their villages. He encouraged people to help themselves. Gandhi helped build schools and hospitals in small villages. It was during this time that people started to call Gandhi by the name Bapu, which means father. Some people also called him Mahatma, which means great soul. Gandhi took on the role of defining the national spirit of Indians. He led a national movement for India to become an independent country. Gandhi criticized the violence the British used against Indians. He said that all violence was evil. Gandhi told Indians not to use violence. He asked them not to buy any foreign goods, especially if they were made in Britain. Gandhi encouraged the people to spin their own cloth so that they could wear Indian-made clothes. Gandhi told people to avoid any work or study that had connections to the British. Many Indians left their jobs. In March 1922, the British arrested Gandhi. He was sentenced to 6 years in jail for opposing the British authorities. However, Gandhi was released after serving about 2 years in jail because he was sick and needed an operation. In March 1930, thousands of Indians joined Gandhi on the Salt March, a 241-mile walk to the sea to protest the tax on salt. The walk spanned more than 3 weeks. Finally, in 1931, the British government agreed to hold a conference in London to talk with the Indians. Gandhi attended the conference, but it didn't work out as he had hoped. During this period, Gandhi had been arrested and then released several times. Gandhi also used fasting as a nonviolent form of protest. He was determined that his country would win freedom, but in a peaceful way. It was in 1947, and therefore after World War II, that India finally became independent. But even after that, India was faced with internal problems that had been building up for some time. Hindus and Muslims were fighting, and many people were killed or injured. Gandhi dreamed of a united India, a country where Hindus and Muslims lived together in peace. He fasted to protest against Hindu and Muslim fighting, but not everyone shared his principle of nonviolence. There were both Hindus and Muslims who did not agree with Gandhi's ideas. Sadly, Gandhi was killed by a Hindu who felt that Gandhi had betrayed his fellow Hindus. Mahatma Gandhi was on his way to a prayer meeting when he was shot 3 times in the chest. Gandhi was 78 years old when he was murdered on January 30th, 1948. Gandhi was a great influence during his time, and he continues to be an inspiration to many people around the world. He once stated that even though he had been a worldwide influence, his principles were actually very simple. Gandhi said, "I have nothing new to teach the world. Truth and nonviolence are as old as the hills."